Hello and welcome. I am the Restless Kaiser.
And I'm still Johnny B.
I'm Brush and Quill.
I am Rey from Skytrex.
But together we are Modeling for Advantage.
And what Johnny B was alluding to there was the fact that we actually started the show about 5 minutes ago. And then I just realized that it hadn't gone live for some bizarre reason. It hadn't worked. So we've done all this already.
There,
hello, people. Rosie, Nick from Team Clueless Games. There was some chat about I'm a Celebrity, which is not as good as this, right? Friends of General Haig is here. Josh Wood is here. Subs is here. What a drinking game are you playing tonight, buddy? Saffron 69, Big McDanskull. Hello, buddy. I'll be in touch with getting you back on the show. And Axe and Axe. Catch you lovely people in the rerun. Indeed, sir. Oh, and my furry bits fell off.
Oh, dear.
Make me all crackly. Oh. So, hobby-wise, I've already started putting some glue on my TT Combat little cottage there. What about you, John?
I have got all sorts on the desk. I've got the Romans, which still aren't done. Got some Skelly Bobs. Got some halberdiers. I've got these as well. Look at these. Oosh.
Ooh,
these are some funky pillar columny things for Kaiser and his mortal god / whatever else he fancies doing.
Indeed. Thank you very much, John.
Mr. Callum, what you working on tonight?
I'm working on some of the 3D print Skaven Blood Bowl players from Punga.
Punga. That looked like a... You did say pirate just then, right?
Aye, pirate. Gar.
Pirate.
Pirate.
Oh, very good.
Hey, Jimmy
Oh,
Talbot.
most wonderful guest. Look at that. We have a Ray. Yay. Have you got any modelling on the desk in front of you tonight?
I don't. I have a lot of things to show you, though, so I can...
Got all the props?
Got all the props.
All the props. And,
Wow.
and I understand that there's a wild animal that might interrupt the stream. Is this correct?
It is. She's left me alone for now, but I think it's a false sense of security.
Oh, I hope
there is
I hope that happens
in the house.
We like the kid.
What was that? So Ray, why don't you tell the beautiful people at home who you are, what it is you do, PIN number, mother's maiden name, that kind of stuff.
So hi, I'm Ray. I'm the business manager of Skytrex Miniatures. Been with the company for about 6 months. Before that, I was with wargames, which you can see proudly on my chest. What we do a lot of scales in the wargaming section, from 200 scale, which is about 8.5 mil.
Wow.
100th, which is 15 mil. And 28 mil, as we've now just got the new Trent miniatures come across.
Trent miniatures, righty ho. So that's you. We've got some pictures from Ray to have a look at Skytrex in a minute, but Skytrex is an old miniatures company, one of the first in the business. We interviewed John Stallard a couple of weeks back, and he talked about the old motor torpedo boats that you made in metal. Are you able to share a little bit for anyone that doesn't know a little bit about the history of the company, or where it comes from? You know, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I can try. Back in the 1900s, a small shop opened. No, in 1972. Skytrex opened and was run by, probably going to get names wrong, so I'm not going to attempt, but the wonderful Dave Bailey, who I now work with, started work there in 1984. And the home brands that you'll know are things like Action 200, Firefight, Triton, Davco, and then eventually Command Decision and Hinchcliffe. So he started in 1984 as a temporary guy.
Right.
We just haven't let him go. We don't let him leave.
Don't
a
let go of
fantastic
talent.
maker. He's so talented, and he keeps everything running. Yeah. So yeah, well, we do. So yeah, in the 80s we did Hinchcliffe. We've still got those kicking about somewhere. Haven't brought them back out. That's 1/54th. No, 54 millimeter.
4 mil, 135th.
Oh,
Yeah.
big stuff.
Yeah. So we've got some Zulus kicking about, which I need to keep looking
Have
for.
I seen them in John's office?
Yes, you have.
Are they yours? There's a Rorke's Drift set. No.
Yes.
I think, because I got some during the first lockdown, I've been working on a little World War II skirmish game, a little bit like what Stollard was interested in, to be honest, and he's talking about in the interview. So something that's smaller than bolt action, and I'm very driven as a gamer by the lower the model count, the sooner I can play the game, and I want to play a lot of different games, and I want them to be quite quick. I'd rather bin a game that isn't going very well and start again. I don't want to get heavily invested in a particular session. I'm going to play a few small games, and I think a lot more interesting skirmish games there ever was. I think there's something in it, and I think games with 5 to 10 miniatures in 54 mil may very much be in our near future as something that the market wants.
Ooh.
Where you can spend a bit more time. Because I got some old Tamiya plastic miniatures. It's like a $5 for 12 of them or something, and they were multi-part kits from the 70s, so they were pretty good, and it was a really pleasurable experience to build and paint these models. And I know that there's loads of stuff out there in 54 mil. There's a lot of the range. Lots of different companies make them because it's aimed at a very different market. But I thought for the war gamer, I think that there's 5 to 10 model games are growing in popularity. And I think 54 mil might be a thing. There you go. That's my prediction.
Don't people are going to go out there and say, Ray, where are they? I want this game. So please. I'll find them.
You'll find them, yeah,
in a dusty corner somewhere. Just bear with me.
Yeah. So, you've started work more recently. We sort of started. You said you work from Warlord. Skytrex got some kind of relationship. Am I funny, John? Your head's wobbling.
Yeah, you've gone all funny.
Oh.
You've gone all Dalek-like.
Have I?
So.
Oh no.
Try again. Try again.
Try again. So you were working with Warlord. True fact.
Yeah.
How long were you with Warlord for before deciding to go to Skytrex, or getting that opportunity, shall we say?
The opportunity did certainly present itself. So I started late last year at Warlord.
Okay.
I started in the packing room, actually.
With Morella.
With Morella.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I kept meaning to mention that. Yeah. Yes. So I started there, and then another job came up for office manager.
Okay.
Because I'd done that previously at that point when I went into Warlord Games, I needed a job, and it was a great job. But yeah, office manager presented itself, went for that, and got to work really closely with John Stallard and Chris, which was brilliant. A really good job. And then this one presented itself about 6 months later. Probably only about 4 months later. And I said, John, I really want to go for this. I'd met Dave. I said, that guy I really want to work with. Because I could just see a lot of possibilities of what could happen. Didn't have as much strength for the job as I'd like, but I've had so much support from Warlord and everyone that it's just been brilliant.
Well, some would say. That's the challenge, isn't it? And something you
It
are
is.
obviously willing to accept and take on. What got you into that? I mean, you said you got some experience just then from doing sort of a managerial perspective side to things, but why a miniatures company? Is that something you're into as a hobbyist?
Yes, so I used to play a lot of Fantasy Flight games. I used to do the tournaments for that, so I am interested in miniatures and gaming. Wasn't necessarily in wargaming, or historical. However, the more I find, the more I learn, the more interesting it becomes. So I might end up losing my weekends to this as well. I've already lost one room to miniatures in my house.
That's not a bad thing.
It's
not a bad thing. I think we have a Kaiser back now. Possibly. Might be intermittent.
I don't know how reliable I am. You seem to be doing really well. I think my Google account for this is having problems because I can open other stuff online, but not my Google account, which is where Ray's slides are, among other things. Well,
you're slightly delayed and you're a bit, but we've got audio, so ping some questions.
Well, I can't really fix anything if I continue to talk.
Okay, you fix things and we will talk some more. That's what we'll do. Right, so there we go.
You talk. Is that all right?
We did the thing. We did the thing.
Yeah.
You're getting into miniatures. You worked with Warlord briefly. That was a brief turnaround before you ended up with Skytrex.
Yeah. It's
why I know you wanted to work with the guy, but what was it that made you want to work with the guy? I mean, what?
I actually took someone else over there. Sounds really awful. I actually took someone else over there.
Right.
As office manager. And I had a look around the site and I was asking loads of questions. And I just got really interested and really, what was it? We found something down one of the aisles because it's like Aladdin's cave in there.
Okay.
And it was an old Kodak tank camera. And I'm like, what is this? Why is this?
There's all these things there. Is this, wow. Okay. So is this because
honestly, I was like, yes, I need to be here.
This is where you want to be? Well, I never.
I could see a lot of opportunity to modernize it and get it back to where it used to be in the 70s and 80s.
Okay.
Really deserves to be.
I've not got personally that much experience with Skytrex other than the most recent things. As I say, many viewers will know that I have a wonderful collection of butter churns / milk urns, and that was my first experience of Skytrex miniatures. And since then I've bought another pack of random fruit baskets because that's awesome. Callum, have you had any experience with Skytrex in your runnings? Because you're quite a random modeler, aren't you? So eclectic, we could say.
The answer is no, but as their 1-200 stuff falls roughly 10 mil, then I feel I may be delving at some point.
Okay.
So it tends to be my preferred. Well, the thing is, loads of people do 15, and I don't really do 15. That's my problem. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. As I said, I was looking before the show started. I was looking at the planes. They're really. I love planes.
Which I'll present again, shall I? As I say.
Come on then. Yeah. Right. Because I'm not familiar. Show us some of the goods. What can Skytrex offer me as a consumer? That was a Spitfire right there.
That was.
I would put you on the big screen, but I haven't got that capability.
Oh, they don't trust you with it.
I'm inept. I'm a Luddite, and they don't trust me with it because of those things.
Because it's made of resin.
It's not though, is it? It's metal mainly. Skytrex.
It's both. We're actually trying to modernize and go more into. So So new prop. This
New prop.
So we do
What
pressure resin.
That's
What is
28
that?
mil kiln or something, isn't it?
That is O gauge, which is basically near enough 28 mil for a lot of our products that we can cross-pollinate over military, which is why those fruit baskets are actually quite interesting, because they're actually O gauge.
Are they?
Yeah.
They are.
Fruit baskets, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, but they can be used for 28 mil and they don't look wrong.
No,
Or we
they don't look out of
can
place
slightly
at all.
scale them for a lot of things.
Okay.
Yeah, because O gauge is... Because 10 mil is
I don't
roughly
know.
N, isn't it? So double O must be roughly
I've
20
never
mil.
got that. I've never got scale. It's really bad. I'm a professional model maker, and I haven't got the scale thing down at all, because I have a ruler and it tells me what 1 to 300 is and 1 to 400 is, conversions and everything else. I have zero idea. So that's not the best.
So O gauge is 1/43 and a half, because apparently we're old school.
What?
Yeah.
But that's because it comes from 7mm to the foot. That's why.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very different market that came from Imperial.
Right. Yes. All very confuddling.
Yeah. But then 28 mil is what, 1/48, 1/56? No.
1/56. I think I've learned that much. I've got that far. I always thought it was 1/72. Anyways, going back to Skytrex. Now, you mentioned a few of the lines that they were renowned for back in the 70s, which I can't remember right now, other than Hinchcliffe, which are the 54mm ones. Can you tell us a bit more about the other ones? There was definitely sounded like a space one there. Have you got like Fleet Combat?
So there's Firefight or
that one.
Triton. They're
that one.
Naval ships.
All of them.
One of them's sailing ships. I know that.
They're between 1/350th and 1/700th.
This is Triton.
Yeah.
And these are sailing ships, you tell me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But I don't know much about it, because we have such a small range of them that it's really niche. I haven't got to grips with them quite yet. But we do have some like Grecian, I'm going to say longboats.
What are they called? What are they called, Callum? Trireme?
Yeah, or is that Roman? It might be Roman.
It's all the same, isn't it, around that time? Ooh.
Yeah, the Romans nicked everything off everyone else. So.
Yeah, a big rowboat.
What have the Romans ever done for us?
Yeah, with their bathing and
and
everything else. Well,
San Salvador, Golden Hind, and Elizabeth Jonas.
Well, Golden Hind's not Greek. I've said that one.
No. Quadrime? Buttering.
Yeah. So it's the bit before the ream is dependent on how many banks of rowers there are. So a quadrime is 4, trireme is 3. There's like a dueme or a trireme, which was 2.
This is making a lot more sense now that you've explained it. Thank you very much. Quadreme, that's a lot of dude blokes pushing their oars out. That's a lot of dudes.
Yeah.
A lot of oars.
A lot of oars.
When it comes to ramming speed.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Okay, so what else have we got on the plate? That was Triton, and that's what you do with that. Triton? Did I say that?
Triton, yeah.
Triton, and that's all your ships and bits and bobs. What else have you got to offer from Skytrex Games?
Got Command Decision, which is our 15 mil.
Okay.
And
it's called Command Decision. Does it have a rule set? I'm not familiar.
Does from the 70s. Yes.
Oh wow.
So it's an interesting one. We partnered with Old Glory in the USA.
Right.
So one has figures, one has tanks, and we basically partnershiped and made command decision. So yeah, it does have a rule set, but also any 50 mil game they'll work with.
That.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Interesting. I've not heard of command decision, but the fact that you say it's a 70s rule set conjures up all these horrific sort of things about all these charts and bits and bobs. Are you familiar with that? The rules and
I have like a I have a copy. However, it's antique.
Researched.
Yes.
I can't even look at the comments. That's really bad. So people could be screaming stuff at us right now, and I can't even react.
I like Tony Holton there making a wonderful airplane joke about activating the emergency inflatable Kaiser.
That's what we need. We need him. Well done, Johnny and Alan. Keep up the good work. That's very kind. We have some answers now. Now, Josh, I have no idea if Kaiser had a plan of questions, and I'm pretty sure that even though the wonderful Ray asked him for a list of questions that never quite appeared, so we can't even go off of that list of questions.
I'm not even sure what we're allowed to ask. You know.
You ask, and I'll see if I can answer.
That's it. We've got Ray for this hour. We are 21 minutes in. Let's get some questions in there. And now that I've finally got the live chat up, hopefully I'll be able to pick something from there. So viewers, if you have any questions that you'd like to ask Ray from
the next question is what's the plans for the future? What's the
plans for the future? Well, unsure how much I can divulge there.
Yeah, we don't want to put you on the spot. If you can't, then please don't. Yeah. But your plans, your you know, when you said you wanted to modernize Skytrex, how are you going to attempt to achieve that?
So a lot of it is moving away from metal and into resin. So we're going back to the masters of firstly command decision, really. So the last one that we did was a Studebaker, which this isn't a Studebaker, but so all of the body. This is no Publix. But this is all metal. This is a hunk of metal that's in so many different pieces, but very, very lovely detailed. We're trying to get all of that detail in resin as a one piece. So it's lighter, but we don't lose anything from it. So that's one project that's ongoing. Secondly, we got a few starter sets because we're going to eventually do some rule sets, but it's a good hunk. If you go on the website, we've got the German and the British one already started. So this Opal Blitz is
Studebaker. Is this part of the collab, the collab, like the resin manufacturing? Are you going to go in house with Warlord? Is that the deal, or
we actually do resin ourselves, but we do pressure resin, whereas Warlord do vacuum resin. So there's a couple of things that we can do better than, and they can do better. What's a good example? VAS, Victory at Seas. They're flat base ships.
Oh yes.
That point down, so our molds can look. Here's one I made earlier. Our molds can be flat like this, and it just crushes the bubbles. Whereas they have to do split molds and suck out.
And then they just pump it full of that goo, right? The little pellets. They melt it down and squidge it in there. So that's going to offer up more room for error, right, in the casting process, surely, having that two copies. What's more reliable, the pressure casting or the?
Honestly, it depends on the model.
Okay.
So
what sort of factors are we talking here? How tall the model is, how wide the model is, how many bits of detail, like a plane has got its wings. This is something we saw quite recently at Warlords. You got the wings, you got the tail section, you got everything else, and panel pieces.
Yeah.
Does that all contribute to
things would be great for pressure resin. What's really the chunky so tank bodies a lot better in vacuum resin.
Okay.
I was going to say the molds you were showing looked like they work best with something with a flat side to it.
Yeah.
Whereas a split, you can do the entire 3-dimensional.
That's a good shout. I didn't even clock that, Callum. Yes, flat base for the pressure. Oosh.
Hello.
Kaiser, who's this imposter?
Always late to the show.
Indeed.
No.
Am I still
wobbly?
wobbly?
You're back and all fixed. I've asked all sorts of random questions in an attempt to keep it flowing-ish, or at least put words in there to this very point. So hopefully you've got some intellectual questions, Kaiser, that you can ask Ray.
How many
I haven't had to dance yet to distract.
No, we've got to fill the gap. Yeah, just like woo.
Okay. Yeah. Well, John thinks he's quite a good flosser, I believe.
I can floss. Yes.
Am I still like?
You're good. You're stable. We can hear you. You look beautiful. Yeah, you look beautiful.
I'm now officially stable. Right. Shall we try having a look at this? Oosh.
Here we go.
Oh no, that doesn't work. We'll have to go up the side.
So
right.
this was at Bovington, which I neglected to go to salute because I was at the behind the scenes tour.
Blasphemy!
They have a huge warehouse of tanks that are just decommissioned, can't use, and this is my favorite one because it's brilliant.
The A7V.
It's made out of wood, actually. This one.
Oh, is it a replica?
It's a replica, yeah.
Well, they made less than 20 of them. There's significantly more Wargames miniatures of this tank than there ever were copies of this tank.
This is World War One, right?
Yes,
yeah.
it is.
I was going to say, does the name make it more sneaky?
Yeah.
So, A7V. I mean, look at that. This is like somebody asked a kid to design a tank. Really big, loads of armor, guns everywhere. What's the ground clearance on this vehicle? About 4 inches. Right.
There's no hills, right, in battle?
How many crew? About 18 in there? Something ridiculous like that. 4 men on the gears. It's like, no, this is not clever. This doesn't work. And they had.
But without them, we wouldn't be where we are today, surely.
Well, not this monstrosity. This is definitely a dead end development. Anyway, but that's picture number 1, right?
Bovington Market. 1 to 200. Truth.
That's a lot of photos.
So that lead plane, why has it got 2 propellers?
3.
Why has it got? Oh, I didn't see the third one. Okay, I thought it was. Let me look at the big screen.
Smart.
That's much better. It's got 3.
It spins this way. Display.
Epic.
That's a Junkers, isn't it? One of their transport.
No, these are. See if I can remember the name.
Come on, Ray, you can do it.
No, I don't think I can.
Are these Italian?
These are Italian, yeah. One's Seto, one's. Nope. Oh, it's gone. It's gone. Can't even attempt it.
That'll do.
Mm-hmm.
That'll do.
That's a torpedo bomber, I think. That 3-engine one. I'm not sure.
The engine one was actually one of the best ones until the start of World War II. It was still used at the start of World War II after World War One.
Yeah, if you to look at Armies of the World 1935, the Italians have got this brand new high-tech army that they then don't really put to work. By the time they get to war, it's all obsolete. And they've invested so much peacetime money in making this. They kind of peak early But yeah, they're one of the most militarized and powerful nations in the world in the mid-30s. And
Really?
so they go to war with this now, biplane fighters type. This was the bee's knees back in the day.
Just can't decide what team they're on, though, can they?
I don't think they had a lot of choice in it, did they? I don't
know.
I don't know.
Maybe.
So this is your 1/200. So this is teeny weeny.
Yeah.
It's a bit.
You say
That.
dude
Yeah.
scale. That's like 8 mil or something. 8 mil.
9 mil. Yeah. Foot to eye level.
Mm-hmm. And this is all metal casts.
These are metal. Yes. Is there anything that's red? No. All 1/200th is metal, as far as I can remember.
And so in your hand, how big are those fighter planes? Inch or so across?
Well.
Oh, they're that big. Look at that. Boom.
Oh,
hang on. Let's go big.
big, yay!
I mean, I don't.
You
For
need to
scale.
get closer, not
For
further
scale.
away.
Sorry.
Your hand does the scale.
Your fingers there. That's
we know
good.
how big it is in relation to. Okay, that's nice. Look at that.
Wow.
You make meow noises, and it's awesome.
Always.
I don't really know how, Ray, you could you claim that you like gaming, but if you're holding a plane in your hand and you're not making those noises, I don't think you're really in the game.
Right. Going for a bit. So.
Yeah.
So that range, you've got Italians, you've got British, because we've just seen one. How extensive is this range?
It's as extensive as the 15 mil. It's just really underutilized. Really, it's quite a niche. In the
yeah. All right, and I think as we go through, you'll see you've got. So look at that! Whoa,
That's tank.
Look at the size of their Swedes, mate.
Well, this is an allowance you have to make for this game. So these guys are 8 millimeters tall, man.
Yeah.
Did he?
So that's a King Tiger, right?
So this was painted by a wonderful painter called Michael Ney, who I follow on Facebook and has lovingly let me use his pictures. Because it must be every couple of weeks he comes out with some of our painted miniatures, and it's just brilliant to see what he can do.
So
just how tiny that is, it's
I can imagine having painted both 6 mil and 10 mil that it's a nice scale where you've got a fair amount of detail, but you also get a lot on the table.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I just have a Mark IV here, if that helps.
Oh, yeah.
Mark IV, look at that.
A World War I Mark IV as opposed to a Panzer Mark IV.
Yeah.
Proto Land Raider.
Yeah, indeed. The lozenge-shaped tank. So, for anyone looking to get in this, looking at this particular scale, so, I've got 15s, I've got 6s. Why don't I do 8.5? Right? What's this going to? What's it going to cost you? How much is it going to cost you to set you back to get a King Tiger in metal at 1/200?
Oh, that is asking. Not a lot. It's. I know, Command. So off the top of my head, it's less than a $5 for.
It's less than a $5.
Less than a $5. Cool. We're talking maybe £4.
Maybe £4. And a packet of infantry. What's that? About £2.50 for 10 guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
You get a lot of. Yeah. All right. That's that. Next one.
That's the two blokes.
15 mil. So this is your, like,
Hey, this is the starter set.
Your mid-vintage gamer is into 15 mil. Your proper old gamer is into 20 mil because it fitted alongside all of his Airfix stuff. And your mid-vintage gamer, 15s. So this is a starter set, is it?
This is the first starter set that we did, just to put a lot of things together. A good bundle price, really, for all of the things if you wanted to start a German army, funnily enough, for a starter set. But we've made the addition on the Panzers. You can't really see, they're the Panzer IV. We've put a lot of like a special stowage on it now. The pictures don't show it. We've now updated it.
Right. It's a newer model. Okay. And because do you have your own system then, or do you make starter sets for someone else's? So,
Mate, I've already covered this. Go back and watch the show.
I was busy unplugging cables and something's going wrong here. All right, okay. Boo.
No. It's all good. I could do with a recap, but yeah, go on. Tell us, Ray.
There is a Command Decision starter set from the 70s. We're just going to go over that. It's quite dated. What we pride ourselves on is not really the, like if you want 18 Shermans, most people are going to go for plastic. What we pride is the peripheral. So vehicles you don't normally see. Specific stowage, or we like the detail.
Yeah. Okay. So do you have World War II ski troops?
Yeah.
Surely.
You
must have.
I don't want to commit to that because I'd have to look myself.
You can't get much more periphery than that, surely.
Exactly.
Do you have troops riding in the back of the lorries? Not the covered ones there, obviously. I meant open-topped ones.
Yes, we do. Awesome. Yeah, so you can buy. We mold them all together. You can get drivers in the Opal Blitz, or you can take the back off. So I have one here. So it comes with either a high tilt or a low tilt, but you can just take that out and put troop seats in them.
The Studebaker.
No, Opal Blitz.
That's Opal Blitz.
Opal Blitz.
That's the kind of details I like. The ability to actually put people being transported around.
Yeah, so they all look like robots sat in a row, don't they? Yeah. Yeah. All right then. That's that one. Nice. So, look at that. So this is what you're talking about, stowage, right?
Yes.
Wow.
More. Oh yes, but these come specifically for these vehicles.
Right.
But anything with this, we make it so that those can just slot in. But these are post-war as well. So those could be Vietnam or East European conflict or that sort of thing.
Very nice.
No.
What?
I'll wait for the next slide.
Like it's planned.
There's one I made earlier.
And that's in metal, right? No.
You imagine. So we had these made in such extreme detail by an amazing guy. Sorry. You can see. Can you see that? You can see through it?
Holy crap.
Okay, that is nice.
So the lid comes off, and a normal, for want of a better word, flames of war bases fits perfectly in there. So you can just slot your thing in.
Oh, that's 15 mil. I'm thinking that's right. So it's got all that detail and it's teeny tiny.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's amazing.
Okay, so let's be honest now, because some of them Sarissa kits are beautiful until you get them in your hands. How many pieces does that come in? How hard is that to make?
Oh, it's not difficult at all. This one's probably more fiddly than most because it's pretty matched. It's matchsticky. But the other huts, not difficult or. So it's a panel, and then it's a slat panel that just goes on top of it. So there's no cutting out and sticking in the middle of the panels or anything. It just slots in.
Cool.
This is a lovely set. This is
How much?
Very nice.
How much are
they? How much of this range is there? Is it just those 4 buildings, or is there more?
No. So we do an Eastern European farm set now as well with a barn, and we do some carts like horse and cart, and we do some fences now. We're building.
Really?
We need to have a bit of a closer look at your catalogue because because we're kind of at that stage with our videos where we've got many of the armies that we want. Certainly for the games that we play, we're fairly happy with the trees. We made a board recently, roads, etc. So now it's about battlefield knickknacks. It is about having and trying to get things into sets. So although you've got a handful of MDF buildings, they don't necessarily fit in with each other. So we're looking to buy sets altogether. So we've just got TT Combat's French Town, which is just going to be an enormous project that'll take years because it's a lot of pieces. But we do a lot of Flames of War and Team Yankee, 15 mil World War II. So that Eastern European village sounds good. But like when I went to Salute this year, I was specifically looking for 15 mil farm animals.
Oh yes, I remember you. I remember you saying.
I was looking for sheep, goats, all that kind of stuff. Even camels. Just that stuff to,
Anything with a horse and a dog. Yeah.
Populate.
Yeah, make it look lived in. So most war games tables are full of. It's not grass; it's pasture, right? If there's just grass in the countryside, it's for feeding animals on. But where are the bloody animals then? That eat this grass.
They've been eaten.
They've been eaten. Yes, possibly.
This really interests me with the difference with our two customer bases, so the railway and the military, because the railway, it's all about the scenic. It's all about like were you here when I showed this? Probably not. So
all the fluff
kiln, which each brick has been done.
Now we get to see it properly.
Oh my days!
Oosh.
So yeah, that's the O gauge one.
If you press a button, does a little Wedgwood plate come out the bottom in blue with white figures on it?
Oh, that'd be
no,
nice.
but we do plates actually, so that's an interesting
plate, John. They do plates, mate.
Like clocks and chairs, and anyway.
Wow.
They're all about this, and they're all about painting this. But then when it comes to people for train layouts, no, but blue shirt, maybe a wash if you're lucky. Whereas the other side, military, it's all about miniatures. This is Warlord Games one that I just happen to have. Major Sharp, of course.
Awesome.
As you do. So you go to great lengths to paint this, which I love, which is brilliant, and I can't do it, and I hate everyone that can. But then the scenery, you're just, like, oh yeah, this is an obstacle.
We are the happy medium. We believe in both.
Well, I believe that we both could benefit from the other's point of view.
Can't we all just get along?
I mean, I come from a model railway background, so I love all the detail that goes into this stuff.
Yeah,
so I totally understand what you mean about looking at a model railway and the people populating it and going, it's just a bit of pink plastic with a blue blob on it.
Yeah, because it is all about the the scale is so far away that you wouldn't really need that much color, but I mean, and it's more about the trains and the scenic. But yeah, I just think both of you could learn from one another.
I mean, I think going back to what Thomas Chaser said in here, I think the options for 15 mil scenery are far more limited. And there's definitely within MDF kits, there's graduation in it. It hasn't quite got to the extent that with a lot of model kits, there's model kits which are quite complicated for modelers, and then there's war games kits which are quite easy to assemble, but have got flexibility in what the model will be much more than how it will look. This barrel for that version of tank, the skirts on for a different version of tank, but nothing too complicated with the build. I think with the MDF kits, that's still not quite decided what the middle point is. But I've definitely had a Sarissa one. It's like, I'm not doing that. it's too much work.
Yeah.
And I've had the basic TT combat houses, which we played tanks with. And after a while, looking at them, thinking they don't actually really look like houses. They're not. They're no longer good enough. So somewhere in between that. I think high quality like this. This is magnificent. 15 mil. That's a beautiful set. And I mean,
what I like about this is that, to be honest, I wouldn't paint them just because they're already the right color. And they've already got that dragging that. Just build them and off you go. It is. Maybe put some grass down, but I'm not a modeler.
Well,
Just
I was,
like-
Alan
I was
Roberts,
gonna say
Max-
I was
2022, like the look of the Skytrex building. I can tell you that Alan is a very good customer if you manage to persuade him.
to wrangle him.
He's a guy who likes to spend money on toy soldiers, I can tell you.
Wonderful. You let me know what you need. I'll, I'll put
I
in a
need
good
you to
word box.
send us a review copy of that Russian village.
Mm.
That sounds good to me because I actually want one without having seen it. So that's it up close. Yeah, it's the detail, isn't it, on the wood panels? It's so good.
It's the fact you could see through. Like, I'm assuming this is laser. Is it laser cut?
It is, yeah. Yeah.
Well, that is some crazy ass laser to get that sort of detail on a 15mm. It's crazy. We want some. Give us some. There's a tank.
I shall. Let's speak after. And I shall send you some.
So this is just a close up of
that is a close up of
three.
Three, yes.
Counting the wheels here. I think it's a Panzer 3. Yeah, because the track is a bit sunk at the back on the Panzer 4. The wheel, yeah.
You counted the wheels?
Yeah, if you count the wheels, the Panzer 4 has more.
I was counting the rivets.
No, you weren't, John. You fibber. You fibber. Right. Now, I don't know whether this is still the case, but you used to make your barrels out of a tougher metal. Is that still the case? To stop them bending?
No. I mean, they're made out of alloy 37. Not that means anything. It'd probably be
mate. That sounds brilliant. Yeah.
And if that doesn't work, then
Peter Healy told us about this stuff when we were there, and it still didn't mean much to me.
Yeah. No, there's one main white metal that we use.
Yeah. All right. So 28mm then.
Hey.
Mustachio Village. Oh, monsieur, I am the Frenchman, n'est-ce pas?
I love the guy on the front right there. I love that.
Yeah. He's like proper on the dude.
He is my favorite.
He's like straight out of a lower low, but Napoleonic version.
Exactly. Vive la France and pass me another sausage. So, these are your French Napoleonics.
French Revolutionary that we got from Trent Miniatures.
So these are relatively old sculpts then, are they?
Yeah, they're so characterful. I could laugh all day at some of the ones that I've seen.
Right.
Not in a bad way. They're just personable. They just have such a lot of movement in the old way. It's brilliant. But it's set around the time of French Revolution. So it's not set in France. We have the Caribbean theatre as well.
Right.
So we have Haitian, we have the Irish uprising, all around that time. We have a good range for that.
1790s.
Sounds interesting. And so what how comprehensive is that range? I mean, we're not looking at the only 4 French figures you do there, right?
No, it is quite comprehensive. Even down to there was a lot of head modding going on when they were sculpted. So the uniforms are right, but then we'd have some with bicorns, and then we'd have some with bearskin hats, or and you can just buy the heads as well. So we've got heads and bods and things like that.
Right.
So it is a big collection that we took on.
Size-wise, because this is the perennial problem with miniatures, not everybody's idea of 28, 25, 32, whatever is the same. So how do they fit, size-wise, alongside Warlord's plastic French?
You know what? I don't. So, can we?
Big screen.
Big screen.
My camera's not very good. So this is Trent Miniatures. This is World War I French, but it's by some of the same sculptors that was. Does that?
Stab him! Stab him! Oh!
It's not bad. It's not bad.
It's not far off. Yeah. All right. They're very nice looking models. And those come in blisters, presumably, of like a half a dozen character figures, is it, or something?
There's personable. Can you take me off the big screen?
Yeah.
Please.
Big screen.
There's a lot of character figures. So like Napoleon on his own, or
All right, yeah.
Names I can't remember. But then they come in packs of 6, 8, or 10.
Right.
Which is
very nice. They look interesting. Might get a few of them, Callum, when I send the Britishers over. Do you fancy having a go at them?
I'd love to. I was gonna say, if you got the 1700 Brits as well, because I love me a good British Marine. So,
ooh, you love yourself a tall sailor, didn't you? So what have we got here?
That's the Irish Uprising.
Right.
With pikemen.
Rebel scum, mate.
These are all Trent miniatures as well.
Very nice. And that full range is metal, right? The single pose metal. Yeah. That's an A7V called Helga.
So that's in 28mm as well.
In resin, presumably, because it's huge.
Resin. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to think if the guns are metal. I think the guns might be metal.
Yeah. That is a big old beastie. And then these, I like these.
Whoa.
These have got,
they look characterful.
And I don't know about the painting. They remind me a lot of Foundry. They look very Foundry.
Yeah, the paint system there is certainly leaning towards that.
Yeah. Yeah, I love these little guys. So these are World War I French. So you have the Alpine Chasseurs and the Senegalese as well.
Yeah.
So they kind of rounded off with our World War One, because we have the Saint-Chamond, the tank as well.
The Saint-Chamond, yeah. The thing that looks like a boat.
Yes.
Yeah, that's Saint-Chamond.
The Kaiser / Callum / anybody that actually knows stuff. Is there much difference between the French World War I / World War II stuff? Because they look the same to me. What's different?
No.
Regards kit and you know what I mean?
Well, before Kaiser gives a sensible answer, I think that bugler needs his helmet resized because it's down over his eyes.
I think he has
just have a useful job anyway.
His role in the set. No, I think your main uniform is essentially the same. I remember, one of the French liaison officers. You know the Laurence Olivier documentary from the 60s. It's an iconic World War II series documentary, and he's saying that the French army was cursed, like so many other armies in history, in having been victorious in the previous war. So it learned nothing. Whereas the Germans came out of it thinking we need to do it different next time.
We need to do this.
The French came out of it thinking, well, what we did before works really well.
Wow.
The French army, the other equipment, obviously they experimented with mechanization and a lot of the artillery. But I think this uniform is basically the same.
Oh no.
Yeah, maybe even
others,
different.
A lot of people are chipping in there. Saying
Guy
it's
on
pretty
the left,
much
nice teeth. Yeah.
He's from Carry On World War II.
Yeah, it was oversized helmet. His bugle. Yeah. Death Corps. Yeah, I said this when we reviewed the Death Corps Krieg in the Kill Team box. And they sound German, but when you see it, they look French. That's a French World War I uniform. So in this range, this is 28mm World War One. Again, you got all the major protagonists. You got French here. So you got British, German, Austrian, Russian.
Sadly, not. It's on the books. Next German, I think.
Next German.
Yeah.
What about Belgians with dog teams pulling their dratted machine guns? That's what we really want, right?
First on the docket. Let's do that.
That's like, if you want to know something weird about World War One, like horse-drawn artillery. The Belgians genuinely have dog-pulled machine gun teams.
Much better.
Machine gun on wheels, 4 dogs. Come on, off you go, wolf. Monstrous.
Woof!
Poor little Belgium. Look what it did to their dogs. Monsters.
Well, I mean, Russians made them mine dogs. At least
Yeah.
they only had to
They
do something.
but we don't generally think well of the Russians, but we tend to think well of the Belgians.
We just ignore the third of the world.
I think I've oversized this picture, but so these are mini wizards.
These are, so these are part of the Trent miniatures as well. We got some sci-fi ones. These are actually called magically challenged dwarves.
Right.
They're just really funny to look at, really, but they're so fun.
Yeah, I think all a little bit is that I gave my buck teeth to learn magic.
They make
you
me
can only
think
ever do 33 spells.
They make me think of Time Bandits.
Yeah. So railway stuff then.
Yes.
Because we're running out of time now. So sorry about that. So look at that, railways. This is 0 gauge.
So this is O gauge, which is 1/43 and a half. We touched on this briefly while you were MIA. That we're cross-pollinating some of the O gauge ones with 28 mil.
Right.
Because a lot of the scenics look right with a 28 mil.
Right.
Or we can resize them a couple of millimeters and they look right. So working with Warlord as well and getting more scenics into wargaming has come a lot from O gauge and the train side.
Make it so.
Including this bridge and boat and
boat, canal boat. That's brilliant.
Look at all that, John. You love all this stuff.
I love this. This is
platform knickknacks.
We did a fun video with all of this and that first train setup, and then we put some Warlord Home Guard and the
Dad's Army Boys. Yeah.
It was it was a fun project to do.
And this is
00. So this is 20 mil.
Right.
So we just do two sizes in the railway. But there's so many other ones, but these are quite popular.
Yeah. And again, you got all those knickknacks. And then look at that!
Finally! Oosh!
Right. Now, this guy at the front, fun fact, which I only found out this week.
The one with the hat?
No, the one with who's holding the
ding dong.
Do you know what that's called?
Yes. You mean the flag?
No. The thing that looks like a crescent, a golden crescent.
There's an eagle.
It's not an eagle. It's called a jingling Johnny.
Yes!
Jingling Johnny.
So we had a pack of this figure that came through that was called Jingling Johnny, and I thought, that poor git. Who's called him this? And it's actually a musical instrument that came. It was a Turkish musical instrument that the French started using and just called it a jingling. Well, the British started calling it a jingling Johnny.
Because he's a Mameluke, this guy.
I can almost guarantee that you will be the only manufacturers that does one of those.
No, you'd be wrong because I looked at this.
I said almost.
Look at that. Yeah. See? Friends of General Haig. He's a pro. Ottomans love their Jingling Johnny. Well, I've read Lawrence of Arabia. You're not wrong, mate.
Just because we're running out of time, sorry, the Germans and the SS actually used Jingling Johnnies, but they were much changed for the SS.
All right.
I dread to think.
But yeah, if anyone wants to Google that, quite an interesting thing of this musical instrument.
Interesting. I mean, we're just enjoying saying Jingling Johnny.
I know.
And I said we were going to behave ourselves because it wasn't just boys tonight. You
started it, sir.
That's true.
And last one, this is our charity figure that we well, it's one of my own personal things because I come from a military background, as does my partner. That we should be doing more for putting wargaming and our own troops together. So we start a collection, and the next one hopefully will be the Normandy that we'll be bringing out. But Yes, that's on
So-
that's on our website to support our troops.
So, but this you buy this figure. Apart
Yes.
from the production cost, the rest of it goes to the Legion. Yeah.
It does, and it's here, and it's
Ooh.
wonderful. This is the Mark IV, so it's Fear Naught, which is the motto of the RTR, and the Mark IV, which is the insignia, and a wonderful little setup that we've got here, so you can play with it.
Very
That's
nice. Very nice.
Yeah,
I
so that's
like
a
that.
nice little ongoing project that I feel strongly about.
Good.
Well, there you go. Was that? I think that was the last picture. Let me just check. Yeah, that
Yes.
was the last picture. Where did we get up to with our hobbying tonight? Then I think I've just about glued the roof together. I'm really sorry about the disruption earlier. My router needed restarting 3 times. Just one of those nights. I hope the guys managed to keep you entertained. I'm sure they did. John, where did you get up to tonight?
It happens. I've mainly just been doing some basing on the various bits and sundries that I have on the desk. Callum, how far did you get with the old Punga Pied Rats?
I did the white collar and cuffs on them.
Sweet.
I was going to just
Ooh.
quickly say, can I do my cheeky plug, please?
Cheeky plug.
You can definitely do your cheeky plug. Let me find a picture for Callum's cheeky plug. Can I
Hold on to your pants.
hold on? This was all ready. All was ready before everything went wrong. Right, share screen.
It's my tell-all
No.
autobiography.
Boom!
Hey,
Look at that.
Oh, what about it?
With a face for radio, here he is. Tell him about it, Callum.
So people that followed me for a while know about it, but if you don't, every year I do an advent calendar where I read out 24 channels, one every day, counting down to Christmas. And it's just so you can jump in, learn about new channels, and spread a bit of love to people that have been entertaining me over the year. This will be the 4th year I've been doing it now.
Wow.
And MFA were on it last year. So jump back, watch that one if you want to spot what I said about them. But yeah, hop over starting the
You
first
said
and
there's a
going on.
bunch of pricks or something, didn't you?
Something like that.
Yeah.
It's whatever you paid me to say. So yeah.
Right, where do we find that? Brush and Quill. That's where we get it.
On Brush and Quill. And that's every day during the season, right? So that 1st of
Every
December.
day.
Advent calendar. With that sweet, I bought it from Wilco's advent calendar there that you've made beautiful.
You painted it, yeah. It's lovely.
Hobby
Yeah.
Land. I decorated it and everything.
It's magnificent. There we go. So that's just about it for today. I think Callum did send me some pictures, but we're already 10 minutes over because of that didn't start properly at the beginning. And then I left in the middle. Ray, I'd like to tell you that we're normally a bit more professional than this, but that's just a lie.
I've seen it before.
Right.
Okay, good.
This probably is the worst episode we've ever had from a tech.
No, you can't say that. Don't listen to him, Ray.
You need to let me finish the sentence.
The one time you have a woman.
We've had Rosie on before, I think, and we had Discourse.
Discourse was on. She was here tonight.
I
Yeah, she's in the
do.
chat tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but while you're here, Ray, and you've got an audience, one of the things, as you know, we went over to Warlord. They showed us around a factory and so forth. Perhaps that's something we can do with Skytrex sometime early next year. Oh,
you most certainly come. It is a warehouse and we can show you around, but we can find a lot of goodies in Aladdin's cave to show you. So yeah,
Aladdin's cave.
we call
Look
it
at
Aladdin's
that.
cave.
All right. Yeah, all right, come and talk to the people. All right, guys, hope you've enjoyed the show. Next week, we've got Jason from Battle Knights is going to come on, hopefully show us some of his painting, and he's going to be on with Mike, Clueless Mike, who's not been on for ages, because, you know, they had a baby, but apparently baby's all grown up now and it's fine.
Jason and Mike had a baby.
No, I've
You
seen
can
the
do
baby.
that
It
now.
looks all right. Baby looks all right.
Okay.
You can't even...
Who
All right.
knows? I'm going.
That'll be those next week. Thank you for watching, guys. Bye bye.